Hi, televiewers of my Media Prime Television. Good morning and welcome to this other edition of The Brief, your favorite bilingual program where we always get to dig several layers beneath the major headlines as captured by newspapers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are taking us to Ndian Division in the southwest region to talk about these Amazonian generals, the self-styled generals who have dropped their weapons. We are told by several newspapers that they surrendered to the Indian administration recently. And of course, they are begging for forgiveness for what they have done to the population of Ndian Division in the southwest region. We shall talk about that in this edition of the program. 20th May celebration this year, preparations ahead of the celebrations is wrapping up, and of course we are told by the newspaper that President Paul Biya will be presiding over the ceremony in Yaoundé. We shall dwell on that this morning. National unity, what does it mean? Is Cameroon really united in their different diversity, as the newspapers are telling us this morning? We shall dwell on that as Cameroon celebrates 20th May in the days ahead. Etape Quentin is here. Let's find out what he gathered for us in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Etape.
Bonjour Lasha et bonjour à nos millions de téléspectateurs. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue dans cette autre édition de Débrief, un programme consacré à l'analyse des actualités abordées dans les tabloïds en kiosque ce matin. Mesdames et messieurs, on commence très rapidement avec le journal La Nouvelle Expression, qui, en prélude de la célébration de la fête de l'unité nationale, titre en sa grande une 51 ans d'état unitaire, chronique d'une désillusion. Dans la page 5, nos confrères développent le 20 mai 1972, un référendum très controversé, déboucha sur la naissance de la République unie du Cameroun, 50 ans après l'institution de l'état unitaire, l'exacerbation du tribalisme, le repli identitaire et plus récemment la crise anglophone qui s'est transformée presque en guerre civile révèle l'échec des populations ou bien des politiques menées par les régimes successifs d'Amadou Ahidjo et de Paul Biya pour assurer l'unité nationale. Le même journal, au niveau de sa cote de une, juste en haut, titre crise anglophone, calme précaire à la veille du 20 mai, diaspora camerounaise, la fierté de retourner au bercail, discours haineux, l'urgence des sanctions, désordre urbain, Bafoussam entame une vaste croisade des informations que vous retrouverez dans les lignes et colonnes des pages 3, 4 et 7 de ce tabloïd en kiosque ce matin. Mesdames et messieurs, poursuivons notre devoir quotidien avec le journal Mutation, qui, pour sa part, s'intéresse à la politique et plaque à sa grande une SDF syndicat. Front commun, c'est ce que nous propose d'ailleurs le journal en grand titre. Plus loin, dans la page 7, on peut se renseigner que à la veille de son anniversaire et dans un contexte de déchirement interne, le Social Democratic Front lance avec 20 organisations syndicales le Cameroon Labour Movement, abrégé Calamo, en vue de la mutualisation de leurs capacités et actions pour le changement. Le même journal, au niveau de ses petites unes, juste en bas de la grande, s'intéresse à la capitale économique du Cameroun et titre Douala, l'affaire d'Icolo, un an après. En tout cas, des détails sont à retrouver dans la page 5 de ce numéro en kiosque ce matin. Parlons à présent satirique, avec le journal Le Popoli, qui titre en sa grande une, ça a déjà commencé. Voilà, messe noire pour 2023. C'est d'ailleurs une interrogation. Dans les propos abordés dans les signes de dialogue, on voit monsieur le prêtre qui prête son évangile et puis les ministres sont dans la foule pour suivre cet évangile. Le prêtre dit: Seigneur, fais que la dîme soit énorme. Beaucoup de ministres sont au culte. Les ministres, à eux de répondre que Dieu oublie Bia a étourdi que ce pouvoir demeure éternel. Seigneur, éloigne l'épervier des routes papa. Alors, on peut voir les ministres Famé, Nganou et puis bien d'autres encore. Alors, vous retrouverez certainement des explications à donner par ce journal dans les pages présentes en kiosque ce matin. Plongeons très rapidement en économie, bien sûr, avec le journal Econews qui est arrivé à notre rédaction ce matin, s'intéresse au gisement pétrolier de Doba et titre le Tchad actionnaire majoritaire. Eh bien, dans la page 5, l'on peut constater que le Conseil communautaire de la concurrence vient de donner un avis favorable au projet d'acquisition par la Société des hydrocarbures du Tchad, abrégé SHT, des actifs de Petronas, Carigali, Tchad Exploration Production, eh bien, filiale de la major malaisienne Petronas. Pourquoi la société tchadienne détient plus d'actions que la SNH? Eh bien, c'est une interrogation dont vous retrouverez le décryptage dans les lignes et colonnes de cette livraison en kiosque ce matin. Terminons avec l'œil du Sahel, qui nous amène à l'extrême nord et nous informe que la production des céréales déficitaires est compris entre 15 560 tonnes et un autre chiffre. En tout cas, des détails sont à retrouver dans la page 2 de ce tabloïd en kiosque ce matin, le même tabloïd qui a varié son menu. Et plus loin, on peut lire également Cameroun, l'épidémie de rougeole sévit dans 50% des districts de santé. Benoué, l'UNDP recrute dans les rangs du RDPC et du FSNC. Télécommunications, la box illimitée infinie pour satisfaire les internautes camerounais. En tout cas, des informations à retrouver dans la page 10 de ce journal en kiosque ce matin. Mesdames et messieurs, voilà, c'est tout pour cette livraison en langue française. Place actuellement à la découverte de cet tabloïd en anglais avec toi, Lasha. Après, c'est le décryptage. Bonjour une fois de plus.
Good morning once again, Etape, Quentin. Good morning, televiewers on my media Prime Television. Let's kickstart this morning with the first ever English daily newspaper, The Guardian Post. The Guardian Post this morning is taking us to Indian Division in the Southwest region to talk about the move taken by two dreaded Amber generals and 16 other fighters to surrender to the Indian administration. Two dreaded Amber generals, 16 fighters surrender Indian, writes the Guardian Post newspaper. The two dreaded self-styled Amber general and 16 of their fighters who had been wreaking havoc and terrorizing the population of Indian Division in the Southwest region since the crisis in the two English-speaking regions morphed into an armed conflict have dropped their weapons. The repentant separatist kingpins dropped their weapons in Mundemba, Indian Division yesterday. The fighters were presented to the senior divisional officer SDO of Indian, Gilbert Ngebai Baldena. As we are told, state media CRTV reported that the exercise to get the notorious separatist from the bushes was coordinated by the commander of the 21st Marine Battalion in Mundemba, Aurelien Betang, who coordinated the operation. You can read the full details on page 3 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. We talk terrorism still, this time around in the littoral region, where 14 persons have been arrested over the killing of soldiers and a biker in Pendamboko. Digging further, at least 14 individuals have been arrested for allegedly being authors of the May 1 attack that killed 3 soldiers and a biker in Pendamboko, Banga subdivision, Mongo division of the littoral region. And of course, news of the suspect's arrest was made public by the Legion commander of the littoral region, Colonel Pierre-Aimé Bikele. The gendarmerie boss of the littoral region is quoted as having said the suspects were arrested during a crackdown carried out by officers under his command. Get full details on page 10 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. Let's talk about what emanated from the Southwest Peace and Development Forum, which held over the weekend in Buea, chief town of the Southwest region. This time around, the newspaper is talking about what President Paul Biya was here on talking about the Southwest Forum Development and Peace Forum, which held in Buea. In this editorial piece presented to us this morning by the Guardian Post newspaper, President Paul Biya must hear this, writes the newspaper. The dust raised by xenophobic rantings by some speakers at the last weekend's Southwest Peace and Development Forum in Buea continues to swell in public debate. The forum, as propagated, was organized by the Southwest Regional Assembly with the objectives being peace and development of the region. These are two issues that are relevant not only to Southwesterners but to Cameroonians as a whole, whose country is still groping to emerge from the pangs of multiple dire challenges. Get full details on what some of those personalities said during the conference in Buea that the newspaper is telling us that President Paul Biya must hear in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. Chantier naval workers threatened strike over months unpaid salaries. We are told that workers of the Cameroon Shipyard and Industrial Engineering Company, Chantier Naval, better known in its French acronym as Chantier Naval, have threatened an indefinite strike action over months of unpaid salaries. The threat from workers to embark on the industrial action is contained in a letter addressed to the General Manager, which a copy of which the Guardian Post newspaper stumbled on, is signed by representatives of the disgruntled workers. We take you now to the media, and the media newspaper is focusing on National Day celebration, May 20 celebration, beer communions with the army and the nation come this 20th day of May. You can read the details on what the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Paul Biya, will be doing at 20th May Boulevard in Yaoundé. Let's talk Muslims or Ash 2023. Muslims say thank you to President Paul Biya for allocating 1 billion francs CFA for them. You can read the details of what happened yesterday during a meeting held by the commission that was chaired by the Minister of Interior, Paul Atanganji, who is the chairman of the Ash Commission, as we are told. We end this morning with the Eagle's Eyes newspaper. The Eagle's Eyes is focusing on what MPs can do in the southwest region of the country, how northwest and southwest MPs can help the government towards peace efforts. You can read the proposal or the analysis of the Eagle's Eyes newspaper talking about what lawmakers can do to actually bring peace to the restive English speaking regions of Cameroon. Thank you so much, televiewers of My Media Prime, for watching this other segment or edition of the program or listening to the major headlines. Now is the time for us to dig several layers beneath some of those major headlines that we have read to you. And of course, this morning, there are two very key topics that caught the attention of English language newspapers. We're talking about Ambazonia generals dropping their weapons in Ndian Division, precisely in Mundemba. We shall also talk about the Southwest Peace and Development Forum. Madam Yembe Emeli is with us in the studio. She is an active member of the political party of Honorable Cabral Libi, who thinks that Cameroon should go back to where we have to rule by taking communities into as being priority. Good morning and welcome, madam.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha. Good morning, Mr. Quentin. Good morning to all Cameroonians around the world. I'm happy to be here once more because your television is convince the Cameroonian every more and more. Okay. Today is the je veux dire que c'est la fête nationale, c'est la semaine de la fête nationale. And let me join my voice to the voice of my comrade and my President Cabralibi to tell a good feast of to the Cameroonian and tell them to let the peace be.
Okay. Maître Alex Ndive, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha. Paul Biya was here, and I hope Paul Biya don't already hear. With the way Father Paul Biya take action, he don't hear. Paul Biya was here. And good morning to you, Mr. Lasha, to Mr. Etape. Wonderful to see Madame Emily. You have been missing for some time, missing in action. It's nice to see you again on this program. And my warm greetings to the beautiful people of the Cameroons.
Yes, Maitre Alex, before we start digging several layers beneath those major headlines, I would like you to watch this report done for us by our colleague, Jato Derek, who was in Mundemba. He brought back the following reports for us regarding the Amazona generals who dropped their weapons. And after that, we'll debate on the issue.
Come and join us. Ilo was like a war zone.
The much talk about Ilo is a village in the Indian division of the southwest region of Cameroon. Unlike any other war zone, those who escaped out of Ilo brought with them to Mundemba disturbing memories of death.
So many people have been crying, coming to Mundemba, saying that they will die,
Lives have been lost at Ilo, just like Iraq and Ikasa. The stories of pain and destruction inflicted by these separatist fighters who have not turned in themselves and dropped their arms are familiar.
We realize ourselves to say anyhow we want to be, that is that. Let us come and surrender ourselves. So I'm thanking the SGO and the Lord Mayor.
This decision to surrender was hard, but they have taken harder decisions before now.
And now we are here. Thank you.
Though difficult to put their names behind their faces, but the terror they have reigned in this Indian division are well known and documented. And these are them.
This is General Baron. These are my boys.
His name is David Dibo of Ilo, with his other members. These militia and the military have met on many occasions, and today they are meeting again, not to exchange fire, but word of reconciliation, apologies and forgiveness.
This is General Baron. I want to tell the other who are in the bush to come out and to participate in the development of our country. I'm the SDO, but you see, I'm here with General Baron who disturbed us for many years, but he come back. So the order must also come.
Before the Chief Executive Officer for the Indian Division, Gilbert Gibai Baldena, the now ex-separatist fighters thank the authorities for giving them a safe passage to security and freedom.
The SDO receiving you are still alive. So I just want to thank Mr. Seke, the mayor, and Papa Pierre.
But some questions about others are still unanswered.
Ken Kobo, where are you? How much time you will stay in Nigeria? Come back. The head of state needs all of you in order to rebuild that part of the country. General Striker, you ran away to Nigeria because now you know it's difficult to continue. Come back like General Baron.
These are my boys.
For they are the tools needed for the reconstruction of their region. These armed conflicts in the Anglophone regions have been going on for 6 years now, and it is estimated that over 6,000 people have died as the result, according to reports.
Oh, Jato Derek, they're reporting. We are back, Madam Yembe. You followed that report. Yesterday it was announced and newspapers are talking about the Amba generals who have dropped their weapon. That's our colleague who brought back the report for us. And you touch people who have killed, they have wreaked havoc, they come back and say they are sorry. You should just embrace them.
Monsieur Lasha, j'ai aussi lu cette information et je viens de voir le reportage pour cette information. Effectivement, c'est des jeunes qui sont rentrés dans la brousse après que le conflit ait été déclaré depuis 2016. Ils sont restés, nous sommes en 2023, ça fait carrément 7 ans, ou alors 6 ans et plus dans la brousse. Alors s'ils décident effectivement de ressortir de la brousse malgré tout ce qu'ils ont causé comme tort, c'est-à-dire énormément de personnes mortes, on parle de près de 6000 personnes mortes, on parle des déplacés internes, plus de 10 000 déplacés internes, on parle même des déplacés externes qui ont quitté des zones à cause de ce conflit. Si ces jeunes que je vois, de très jeunes garçons, ont décidé de déposer les armes pour rejoindre la République afin de construire ensemble le Cameroun et plus particulièrement la zone dans laquelle ils vivent, où ils ont émis des revendications, moi je trouve que après un conflit, il faut généralement passer à la table de réconciliation. Il faut déterminer les responsabilités, peut-être une commission de vérité et de réconciliation, dégager les responsabilités et maintenant pardonner à ceux qui ont causé du tort aux autres. Alors, embarrassés par le fait qu'ils aient énormément causé de tort et maintenant revenir tout simplement dire que nous sommes désolés, pardonnez-nous. À un moment donné, il faut avoir ce langage de réconciliation. Nous, par exemple, au PCRN, nous sommes un parti de réconciliateurs. Si ces jeunes décident de demander pardon malgré tout, il faut leur accorder ce pardon, il faut les réintégrer dans la société. Je crois que c'est aussi ce que tous les Camerounais veulent. Le conflit n'a que trop duré. Beaucoup de morts pour rien. Généralement, on va dire que deviendront ces morts, on les mettra-t-on en perte et profit? Non, à un moment donné, ils ont décidé de revenir, ils ont parlementé pendant des jours avec un homme en tenue, je crois, on l'a dit dans le reportage. Il faut pardonner, il faut oublier, il faut avancer. Beaucoup de morts pour rien, finalement, mais à un moment donné, pardonnons et avançons.
Okay. Maître Alex, you watched the report. Your comment?
Yeah, Mr. Lasha, let's take note. We are talking about there is a government, the Cameroon government. What you just showed the video, the government is displacing it, is prohibited by the Geneva Convention, the rule of law, what they were just doing. They are a government. When I sit on your program that the government doesn't know how to govern or they don't know the law, you think I'm insulting them. What they just did, I did not see a dreaded general. I saw a prisoner of war. And the Geneva Convention, the Etape protocol makes it clear what to do when you have somebody in conflict. It's a government. They have the best lawyers on earth. I'm disappointed that they don't follow the rules. No, usually what happens when you are a prisoner of war, whether you surrender, you're still a prisoner of war. You treat them humanely, you give them medical treatment, and you send them swiftly back to their home. If the conflict comes to an end, you don't do what they are doing. They are playing to the gallery. If you want to solve the problem that's going on, it has to be inclusive. You have to bring everybody. We saw what happened in South Africa when they had their problem after there was Peace and Reconciliation Committee. Everybody sit after the war. You don't do those things and say, where is General Kobo? Yes, that man is one of government official. He's saying, this guy have suffered people, done this to these people or whatsoever. How many people did Mancho BBC and Gary Felix kill that they are in prison? So if you can forgive somebody who have murdered and harassed our people, then you shouldn't be keeping those guys in Kondenge. If we want to bring peace, it's not about one dreaded general. It's about everybody. If you take this guy, he calls it General Baron, and is it JB, the other ones? What about the other ones? That's not how you solve or bring peace in a country.
Alex, they are going to the DDR center, so you should not be talking about...
Listen, Mr. Lasha, Lasha,
they are still to qualify to be released into the society.
Mr. Lasha, you can check. They are breaching the Geneva Convention by showing video and displaying those people. It is prohibited. International Red Cross too, they will tell you which they deal with international humanitarian law. My first point is the government is breaching the laws or the Geneva Convention. You don't have to displace those people.
What about these people now who have said they have surrendered after they have killed people, they have caused destruction, and now taxpayers' money will be used to feed them at the level of the DDR center, and everything should just be okay like that?
Mr. Lasha, forgiveness does not come from the government of Cameroon. It comes from the people. You, Madame Emily, Mr. Etape, you are going to be the one to forgive those people. So what the government is doing is dangerous. If you kill my friend and family, it is up to me to forgive you. It's not up to the government. The point I'm making, if you display the video of this so-called general, what are you doing? If it's my family, you're exposing them. I've seen their face. If I want to revenge as an individual, a citizen, I can do that. So those are one of the reasons that you don't display these people's video. And the government is in breach of that. And again, I understand, is it the deputy mayor of, is it Mundemba? He has been talking to these guys for them to leave their arms and come back to the community to bring development. Okay, I'm happy to see that. I've been asking, why is it that the government doesn't show us prisoner of war? Each time we see any person, they have killed the person. So why all this killing when the government can engage in this manner and try to bring some of these people back to our society? So why can the government not engage with all those other people that they have killed them? Because we don't know the circumstances that they have killed those people. We have made it clear, despite the fact that we condemn what these guys are doing, at the end of the day, there are still people of that country. In a country, you have good people and bad people. Prisoners do have rights. So it is very important that when the government is dealing with this thing, we should not just make it, oh, one person have their own way of solving peace. Oh, two people have come back, the other ones are not coming. I'm just giving this as an opinion. Do you know how many people, after this one person that have surrendered, do you know how many people they have recruited? Maybe 5, 6, 7. We don't know. That's my point. So we shouldn't come and display one person there. Let's be genuine. Let's see their international standard on how to solve conflict. You have to look and identify why are the people fighting. Then you have to address this issue. Then all of us will come together as a people. We look out, including the victims, how we can solve this problem. Because the way the government is trying to bring this peace, what the government is doing is something that you're bringing instead trying to divide the society. Because if this guy who is talking murder my family or friend, I wouldn't like him. Why is the government forgiving this person? That's what I'll be saying as an individual or a family or as a Cameroonian. So if you want to solve the problem, there is one way. There's international standard how to solve a conflict. People have offered to help us to bring peace. In wartime, you don't solve problem by calling your friends on the table. You call your enemies. So if we want to solve this problem, there is a way. Looking at the way the Geneva Convention and other means to solve conflict, the government is not following the right direction. That is my opinion in accordance with the law.
Okay. Madame Yembe.
Alors, on va rester dans le même tempo de la crise anglophone. Eh bien, selon le journal La Nouvelle Expression, les séparatistes continuent à appeler les populations à observer une ville morte. Alors, est-ce qu'on peut dire, au moment où on se prépare pour la fête de l'unité nationale, que c'est un calme précaire?
Oui, on peut le dire. On peut dire que c'est un calme précaire parce qu'on vient de voir un reportage où des séparatistes ont décidé de déposer les armes. Ils ne sont qu'une minorité. Il y a encore une grande majorité de ces séparatistes qui sont en brousse, qui pensent que leur cause est juste et qui pensent qu'ils doivent continuer à combattre et à, c'est-à-dire demander aux populations d'observer les villes mortes. Donc, un calme précaire, oui, on peut le dire. Mais comme il y a aussi l'armée camerounaise de ce côté et qui a déjà l'habitude des fêtes de 20 mai, c'est-à-dire c'est quand même depuis plus de 6 ans que le conflit dure. Donc, depuis 2016 jusqu'à cette date, c'est l'armée camerounaise, je pense, a su étudier, n'est-ce pas, le comportement de ces séparatistes à l'approche, n'est-ce pas, de la célébration de la fête de l'unité. Et ils ont certainement pris des mesures pour que les Camerounais qui vivent de ce côté-là puissent vaquer normalement à leurs occupations et à célébrer la fête de l'unité pour ceux qui le veulent dans de meilleures conditions. Donc, calme précaire, on peut le dire parce que les gars, je veux dire les séparatistes, ils utilisent une méthode de guérilla, c'est-à-dire ils apparaissent, posent des actes et disparaissent. On l'a vu lors de la course au Mont Cameroun tout dernièrement, ils ont mis des bombes artisanales tout au long d'un trajet qui ont fini par exploser. Donc, comme je dis, l'armée sait exactement ce qu'il y a à faire. Les Camerounais qui vivent de ce côté savent exactement ce qu'il y a à faire pour qu'on n'ait pas trop de dégâts. La sécurité doit régner de ce côté-là pour que les gens vivent en paix.
Okay. Maître Alex, we are celebrating National Day, National Unity, but apparently this unity we are talking about is not only the unity between French and English-speaking Cameroons. We also have a problem of unity within the Anglophone community. Now, there was a meeting that held in Boya to look for peace, or it was meant for peace and development of the Southwest region. And the Guardian Post newspaper for the past 3 days has been focusing on that meeting, or what some speakers said during the meeting. And those speakers have come out to say that they were put out of context. And this morning, the Guardian Post is still maintaining that Paul Biya must hear this. Can we really talk national unity in Cameroon?
Mr. Lasha, you know, as Homo sapiens, human beings, we like to pretend. You see a husband and wife, they have problem at home, but they will come outside putting on nice dress, they are smiling, then after that they go back home, the fight continues. The word unity is just a word. I was talking with a friend today, and I was talking about, I've never heard in the United Kingdom or America, they say national integration, national unity. Does it mean they are not united? They are united, but they don't use that word. That word, sometimes we use it much, too much. Our constitution says, proud of our linguistic and cultural diversity. Good. Do we do that in practice? Like in this country, you can recognize, there's nothing wrong to say I'm Scottish. It's not tribalism. There's nothing wrong to say I'm Irish. But in Cameroon, when I say, oh, I'm a Bakuru, I'm Banso, or I'm Bulu, oh, you're tribalistic. How can you be tribalistic by saying who you are? Those tribes, we were born with those tribes, and we envy it. Then we embrace foreign culture. Again, coming back to what the echoes from Boya, what those people said they were misquoted. To be honest, people make mistakes, even in the UK. There was a time a lady, the first black lady MP, made something about race and Jewish people. Everybody was over it. That's politics. If these people, they should not try and abuse our knowledge. We know that English is a foreign language. We all heard the video. We heard what they say, non-indigenous. You don't call people in a country that they are non-indigenous. You don't do that. And all they should do, if they have that order, if they have that respect for the public, is to come and say, I'm sorry. People make mistakes. But if they want to say, they were misquoted by saying, the people we don't like, whoever, who are the people we don't like? We talk about our resources. Do they know resources belong to the central government, not a tribe? So when you make all those statements, as I said, it was a Southwest, as they call it, Conference for Peace. When we talk about peace, we talk about economic development, health, working condition, and other things. But they were talking other things. I've seen they are trying to lambast the editor of the Guardian. I'm telling the Guardian, you are right, 100% right. Don't back off. Because you cannot tell that, oh, you're out of context or what. It's not out of context. And again, let me tell you something. I saw somebody analyzing a lot of things. That, oh, maybe journalists, most of them, they don't come and listen to the entire conference. They go, they in that conference, whether we like it or not, is that a member who is a senator in Cameroon, who is supposed to have high standard in our public life, said some people are what? We dislike them. It's not misinterpretation. We don't care whether they talk about whatever in that conference. The most important thing, maybe if it was still in the Western world, they pick those type of things. Those are headlines even in the Western world. When a member of parliament, a senator, comes and look at other people as if they are foreigners in our own country, then we are talking about things that does not happen or whatsoever. It is dangerous. It is a precedent that we don't need to see in our society, because these are the people who are causing trouble in our land. If, let me say for example, in the Southwest region, if we have development, house, jobs and what, people don't care whether you're an Englishman working in Cameroon. People don't care whether you're an Igbo man working in Southwest region. People don't care whether you're a Bulu. The reason we are doing this divide and rule is because we don't have development, there's no job.
Okay, I will come back. I will come back to you, Maître.
D'accord, Maître, on reviendra vers vous tout à l'heure. Cependant, on va rester toujours dans la même mouvance, bien sûr, avec le journal La Nouvelle Expression. 51 ans d'État unitaire, et bien après 1972 qui marquait le référendum qui a donné naissance à la République camerounaise. Eh bien, Madame Yembe, comment comprenez-vous cette titraille 51 ans d'État unitaire, chronique d'une désillusion?
Oui, la titraille, elle vaut son pesant d'or quand on voit ce qui se passe au Cameroun actuellement. Donc, on peut comprendre cette titraille, 51 ans d'État unitaire, chronique d'une désillusion. On le voit très bien, on a tellement de conflits. On a ce conflit du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest qui a mis, on a fini par l'appeler le conflit anglophone. On a actuellement heureusement que c'est sur les réseaux sociaux, une montée de tribalisme qui, ma foi, fait peur pour l'avenir du Cameroun si rien n'est fait. Donc, le titre vaut vraiment son pesant d'or et il va falloir qu'on mène une réflexion là-dessus pour trouver les voies et moyens pour que les Camerounais se remettent ensemble, pour que les Camerounais puissent se parler, pour que les Camerounais avancent ensemble. On peut dire que ce qui a causé, n'est-ce pas, cette cassure dont le gap ne fait que s'élargir est c'est-à-dire, on dit trivialement au quartier le partage du gâteau. On a une certaine élite, on ne va pas ici stigmatiser des ethnies, mais on peut dire qu'on a un Cameroun d'en haut avec des gens qui depuis près de 40 ans ont pris le Cameroun en otage. Et c'est eux qui dirigent le Cameroun. Et on a ce Cameroun d'en bas où les gens peinent, n'est-ce pas, à avoir 2 ou 3 repas par jour. Ce Cameroun d'en bas où vous avez plein de diplômés, mais qui n'ont pas de travail parce qu'ils ne connaissent pas telle ou telle personne. On a ce Cameroun d'en bas où les Camerounais peinent à avoir, par exemple, des comprimés de paracétamol pour se soigner. On a ce Cameroun d'en bas où, malgré tous les efforts que certains peuvent faire, ils voient toujours leur situation stagner. Donc, c'est un peu ça, c'est un peu cette façon de gouverner, la malgouvernance au Cameroun, le manque de justice sociale, le manque d'énormément de choses. Les Camerounais n'ont pas de lumière, les Camerounais n'ont pas d'eau, les Camerounais n'ont pas de travail. C'est tout ça qui crée, n'est-ce pas, cette désillusion pour bon nombre de Camerounais.
Okay, and so what is the way forward for us? Because every day we keep hearing of national unity, living together, all those kind of things. What is the way forward so that with all these multiple conflicts that we are having, we can actually boost that Cameroon is united, we are living together?
Pour que le Cameroun c'est-à-dire pour que les Camerounais se mettent ensemble de nouveau, pour que les Camerounais se parlent ensemble de nouveau.
I'm from the Northwest, I'm living in Douala, I don't have any problem.
Non,
so
justement,
what is the issue of living together every day, living together?
Je veux dire En fait, il n'y a pas de Camerounais. Il n'y a pas de conflit entre Camerounais, mais il y a un conflit entre les Camerounais et la classe dirigeante. Alors, pour que les choses redeviennent comme avant, nous, au PCRN, nous proposons le fédéralisme communautaire. Le fédéralisme communautaire permettra déjà qu'on enlève les barrières administratives, les barrières coloniales qui ont divisé les Camerounais jusqu'au moment où je vous parle. Donc, on ne parlera plus, par exemple, des anglophones et des francophones, on parlera uniquement des Camerounais. Donc, le fédéralisme communautaire est ce contrat social que le PCRN offre au peuple camerounais pour justement arrêter tous les conflits, arrêter toutes les frustrations qui mettent les Camerounais en mal. Vous savez, quand vous êtes frustré, quand vous êtes choqué par rapport à votre situation, alors que vous faites des efforts pour vous en sortir, vous devenez tellement nerveux que même dans la rue, vous pouvez mal répondre à un autre Camerounais comme vous qui souffre également et puis ça dégénère en un conflit. Donc, pour que tout redevienne dans l'ordre, le PCN propose le fédéralisme communautaire où les communautés vont se remettre, les communautés seront ensemble et les Camerounais les Camerounais pourront, n'est-ce pas, ou alors vont développer leur communauté, évitant les conflits comme tels que nous l'avons vu dans le nord-ouest et le sud-ouest.
Maître, as we are ending, my last question to you, how will you evaluate national unity in Cameroon, and what is it that needs to be done so that Cameroon can fully live?
Let me make it clear that 20 May that we're celebrating was the day President Amadou Ahidjo abolished the federal form of government. And to be honest, the truth about it, you read everywhere, the reason Ahidjo abolished the federal form of government was to concentrate power in his hands. That's a fact. It was not because of unity. Because United States is federal, a republic or whatsoever. It doesn't mean that they are not united. Because Nigeria have got federalism, it doesn't mean Nigeria is not united. So we must stop fooling people with words. Because you have federalism doesn't mean you are not united. And again, the fact that Madam Yembe is talking about that we should forget there's no Anglophone, we have to go to our custom or what. I have in my party what I call ethnocultural democracy, which we have customary laws. We cannot abolish the French and the English system totally. It's part of our heritage. If we want to abolish the French and the English system, it means we have to abolish Rio dos Cameroons. It means Cameroon does not need to exist. That's what you're proposing. What we have our dual heritage, which must exist. Then we have customary laws which we need to codify. Already, the customary laws are there, but we don't use it that much. If you have any issues in wherever we come from in Cameroon, you start by using what? Your custom and tradition, you try to solve it locally. If it doesn't work before you go to the, let me call it modern law. So it is existing. But the point is we need to codify it and make it clear that we have ethnocultural democracy, that each tribe, they have to practice their custom and tradition. It should be okay. People should learn their dialect or their languages in primary school. And again, then before we come now, this system has to exist. We cannot live in isolation. The jury system, election, those are foreign things we imported. We have to live with it, those things. Criminal justice system, it is there. We have to live with it. The problem we have today in Cameroon is that we are using some archaic system that we inherited from France, that France is no longer using it, but we are still using it, our country like Theo and other people. Again, to this issue, I know a lot of people like to use the word tribalism. Tribalism is beautiful. Tribalism means loyalty. We should not confuse nepotism with tribalism. Tribalism means loyalty. I'm a loyal fan of PW Bamenda. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong in Cameroon is nepotism. The fact that you favor your friends and family for a job or other things. So we should not be confusing tribalism, loyalty to your boss, loyalty to President Pobia, loyalty to your wife. That's tribalism. Nepotism is what we hate. There's nothing wrong with tribalism.
Okay,
and again, there's something I will talk one last thing in constitutional law. When we talk about we want to draft a constitution, you look, Is the country homogeneous or heterogeneous? So Cameroon is homogeneous. We don't have similar culture. So automatically, we have to have a federal form of government. It is automatically taking into consideration that we have an English heritage, French heritage, and our various and tradition.
Thank
so
you.
I see people try to propose several times, should we have 10 states? No, we don't have 10 states. We have dual culture that we inherited, that's 2 states. Then we go on ethno-cultural democracy, our culture, that's it.
Thank you, Maitre. Thank you, Madam Yembe.
You're welcome.
Let's conclude on this. National unity. How will you rate national unity? Are we advancing or retrogressing?
Est-ce qu'on avance ou alors on regresse avec l'unité nationale? On va dire que nous stagnons avec l'unité nationale parce que si on avançait véritablement, on n'aurait pas les conflits qui se déclarent dans tous les coins. On a les Mousgoum et au nord il y a eu un conflit tribal dernièrement. On a un peu partout dans le Cameroun des zones de conflits latents, surtout avec cette histoire de taxes foncières, donc du foncier au Cameroun qui est une véritable bombe à retardement. Quand vous avez des gens, n'est-ce pas, qu'on enlève sur leur terre, comme on l'a fait par exemple à Dikolo, vous avez vu il y a 2 jours les Sawa, n'est-ce pas, fêter cet anniversaire, c'est-à-dire dans la douleur. Vous avez comme ça ce problème foncier au Cameroun qui risque, si rien n'est fait, créer une guerre générale au niveau du Cameroun.
Alors, the archaic system that we don't want to computerize the land tenure system in Cameroon, that you have a small piece of land with 5 different land titles. Is the problem not the system?
Le problème, c'est justement le système qui laisse faire, le système qui est même complice, le système qui est même complice de ce qui se passe, parce que c'est aussi une poche, n'est-ce pas, de corruption très énorme au niveau du Cameroun. Donc, on a stagné, on n'a pas avancé, mais on peut encore se rattraper. Okay. On peut se rattraper pour que le Cameroun devienne cet havre de paix qu'il a été dans des années antérieures.
Thank you, Madame Yembe, for coming. Thank you to Maître Alex Ndive for your inputs, ladies and gentlemen, this morning. We are hoping to be back tomorrow with more on what the newspapers must have said in Cameroon. The program was produced for us by Christain Tebong. We were Etape, Quentin and myself, Lasha, Kingsley, hoping to be with you tomorrow, like I earlier said. Bye-bye from this end.